feel like I have come such a long way from when I was on the Vile Files, where I was like, I don't identify as a murderer, and people are like, you're a murderer, you're a murderer, you're a murderer. Okay, all right, yeah, I'm a murderer. That's one of the things I am, but I'm also sweet. I'm also compassionate. I'm also, a survivor. I'm also a mother. I'm also a girlfriend. I'm also a daughter. So if you want to call me a murderer, sure, yeah, that's one of the things I am. It doesn't.
Hey guys, Becca Scoops here. How are you guys doing today? Yeah, it's Monday. I didn't think I was going to make a video today. I've been working on some things behind the scenes, but well, here I am because I got to bring you some information about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She's been pretty active on the internet the last few days. Ken did a live yesterday. I think she was on a live the day before that. And then, like early this morning, she's on a live with Bree. And what she said on this live with Bree that kind of has me scratching my head. And all I can say is big bothered. And Ken is all of a sudden interested in things about her crime, about the murder of her mother. And I find that fascinating because kind of the flavor I got from Ken was always, I don't know. I don't want to know about that. I know Gypsy now. I trust Gypsy now. I like the person Gypsy is now. And he really um does never was like the person that was delving into what happened. Like he was not an apologist, what we would call an apologist for Gypsy. Now her lieutenants are, especially her chief lieutenant, who is Bree over on TikTok, has been somebody that for the last almost 2 years now has been defending Gypsy from all the naysayers, from people that have pushed back on Gypsy's narrative that we aren't buying it. And there's so much that we don't know. And we are pretty sure at this point, and yes, very, very sure that the truth has not come out. And so Ken has not been an apologist in that way. He's just like, I'm Gypsy's boyfriend. I don't know about that stuff. I don't care about that stuff, has kind of been the attitude. So this is what I found fascinating. So let's just get right into it. The first thing, and then Gypsy's like, well, we'll get into it. Gypsy's telling narratives about the Barney doll. She's slandering her mother more. And at the same time kind of claiming, I'm not bothered anymore, I don't care about this anymore, except when she gets on a live, this is what she talks about. So let's get to that first clip here.
There's 2 years, almost 2 years in, and I feel like I have come such a long way from when I was on the Vile Files, where I was like, I don't identify as a murderer, and people are like, you're a murderer, you're a murderer, you're a murderer. Okay, all right, yeah, I'm a murderer. That's one of the things I am, but I'm also sweet. I'm also compassionate. I'm also, a survivor. I'm also a mother. I'm also a girlfriend. I'm also a daughter. So if you want to call me a murderer, sure, yeah, that's one of the things I am. It doesn't define me.
Now, Gypsy tells on herself without realizing she tells on herself, right? She misses the whole point. She completely misses the whole point because allegedly, in my humble opinion, she's got antisocial personality disorder and she's a malignant narcissist. And so these people see things through the lens of their own feelings. All right. Everything is about them and what they think and what they feel, right? She can't fathom why people went nuts. In fact, that was the very interview that got me interested in the case. When I watched the Vial Files interview, and what she's referring to is in January 2024, right when she got out of prison, she did an interview on the Nick Vial Files. During that interview, she stressed, and it was, quote, "I don't identify as a murderer because I didn't do the actual deed. Wasn't me. So why would I identify as a murderer?" And when I heard that, knowing she had just got out of prison, supposedly rehabilitated, I was like, whoa, she has no idea how tone deaf that is. And yet, once again, 2 years later, she's nowhere near understanding why that was a problem. To her, it's over with now. I don't care that people call me that. I've grown, she says. I've grown. Because now, when people call me a murderer, I don't care. You haven't grown at all. You're still not taking accountability. You haven't said, you know what? I thought about it and I understand now why people were upset I said that. Because, yeah, I am a murderer. And I take responsibility for it in that it was me. It wasn't Nick. I manipulated him. I can see now, or I'm beginning to see now, why people freaked out when I said that. Right? But just bear with me here, because this is a very important point as to why Gypsy is super problematic as being on the internet at all. Okay, back up here just a minute.
Where I was like, I don't identify as a murderer, and people are like, you're a murderer, you're a murderer, you're a murderer. Okay, all right, yeah, I'm a murderer. That's one of the things I am. But I'm also sweet. I'm also compassionate. I'm also, a survivor. I'm also a mother. I'm also a girlfriend. I'm also a daughter. So if you want to call me a murderer, sure, yeah, that's one of the things I am.
It's not the same. Being a girlfriend and being a murderer do not equate. Being a murderer means you did one of the most heinous crime known to man. Besides probably pedophilia, right? I mean, it's up there because you murdered your mother. So it's not that you identifying as it or not, it's that you understanding how wrong it was. You showing some contrition, showing like some devastation over your deed. You know, when you do something wrong, most of us are not malignant narcissists. You know, when you do something wrong and it's bad and it's like something pretty bad. And of course, it's not murder or something like that, but you did something, think back of doing something. And immediately you feel shame and guilt. Even if you're not ready to take responsibility for it publicly, you feel shame and guilt, right? She doesn't. See what's missing? That's what we all honed in on, is that we didn't see any shame from this woman. We didn't see any guilt from this woman. And we still don't. And to me, that is so problematic. It's scary that she could be on the internet and influencing young people. Okay? I think they have a few more things to say here, and then we're going to get to the Barney doll and all of that madness.
It doesn't define me.
It should define you. It should define you. You should be so filled with shame and guilt that you couldn't even be on the internet. Not for a long time. Let's say you did that, and let's say, see, I just don't even think anyone that's not a pure raging narcissist could do something like that in the way she did it. That's not like you're protecting yourself or something like that. Do you see what I'm saying? So you would have to go through a very lengthy process of accountability. Accountability isn't just saying it verbally. Okay, I take accountability for that. Anyone can say that, and she has said it, but it means nothing. It means nothing because you see her attitude here. You see the real her here. And she always does this. She always tells on herself without knowing she's telling on herself. All right, what else?
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Like y'all, I mean, I'm gonna make another mod, someone that I know. But yeah, I know people are gonna call Gypsy a murder. Like she knows that. I mean, that doesn't mean we don't want to get rid of the comments, but like words like that don't like. She's
words like that doesn't hurt me.
Yeah.
Like people need.
It's not that it doesn't hurt you. It's again what I'm trying to say here. No shame, no guilt. Here, this is all hubris and all pride and all arrogancy is all we're seeing from her here. Listen.
To understand, I've grown such a thick skin 2 years that I could care less what anybody thinks of me. So
she doesn't even get this isn't the point. It's not about how you feel. It's not about you growing thick skin. It's about where's your shame and remorse? Where's the shame? Where's the guilt feeling? And don't tell me you feel it in private, because I don't believe that bullshit for 1 minute. Because there's no way you would be able to put your face on the internet and talk the way you do if you had actually gone through true contrition for your crime.
call me that all day long. At this point, it lost its sting. It's not stinging anymore. Now you just look at these idiots for telling me things that people already know.
Yep. At the end of the day, like, I mean, if anybody knows, if anybody knows what was done and what she did and what she is and what she's not, it's probably going to be the person who it's about. So, I mean, it's like when people tell me I'm fat. No way.
Now this is her Lieutenant Bree, who's going to compare her being called fat to Gypsy being a murderer. I mean, can these people be any more moronic than they already are? I can't take it. I can't.
Oh my God, Mom. Why didn't you ever tell me that I was fat?
I can't. I'm sorry. It's so frustrating. It's the immaturity of these people, the sheer ignorance of these people. No wonder Bree is her yes person, right? There's no, I mean, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying it's just really ridiculous. And no more of this. You got my point, right? She has grown nada. All she's saying here is now I have thick skin. So when people call me a murderer, I don't care. I used to care when they called me that because, it's all about me and that hurt my feelings. Like the same way you would call someone fat, it's mean. But now I don't care. It's the most heinous crime known to man. Yeah, I can't. Sorry, you guys. This is the stuff that really gets me upset. All right, let's move on. Let's move on from that, right? I mean, let's go to this whole Barney controversy. And here's the really interesting thing about the Barney controversy. It's really not a controversy, but now she's making it one because she wants to talk about it. The really interesting thing here, as you'll hear, is that Ken is asking about the crime? Really? Ken is all of a sudden wanting to know about details about the crime? I wonder how that conversation started. So let me get that video clip for us.
Bree, could I use this time
Yes.
to talk about the Barney conspiracy?
Sure.
Okay, so because Ken and I were talking yesterday, and he's like, what's up with the whole Barney thing?
Ken and I were talking yesterday, and he's like, what's up with the whole Barney thing? And based on that conversation, Gypsy felt like this morning she needed to get on a live and talk about the Barney controversy. Why? Why does Ken want to know about it? And why does Gypsy now feel the need to talk about it publicly, to go on the record publicly because Ken wanted to know about it? You guys make up your own mind what's going on there. Me personally, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what goes on in their house, obviously. But if I know anything about Gypsy Rose Blanchard, she's not an easy person to live with. There's going to be problems. There's going to be difficulty. And when Gypsy loses it, what does she say? What she said to Ryan: "It's my trauma. Sorry, I acted out. It's based on my trauma." And so maybe based on that, Ken's like, "What is the trauma? What did happen then? Maybe I need to know what happened because you're not a real easy person to live with."
And I'm like, dude, they have this whole conspiracy theory laid out in their minds that, I placed the Barney by the bed and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, you want to know what happened? My mom was doing laundry the night of the murder. Okay, my mom always would fold the laundry on the bed. So that night, she asked me, do you have any laundry in your room that you want washed? So I gathered clothes up and the bar, and I put it in the hamper. She did a load of laundry. She took the laundry from the hamper that she just washed and folded them on the bed, okay? As she would always do. When she had the Barney behind her, because sometimes I'd have stuffed animals.
Just real quick, if you hear like it coming in and out, it's not it's TikTok, and this is the best recording of that. So I apologize for the weird clicks and coming kind of pauses and stuff like that. It's TikTok.
By the, pillows. So that is the big conspiracy about the Barney. That's what happened about the Barney.
This is gonna be. I know how these people work. Okay, so why the Barney? Was there other stuffed animals that you handed her that night? Why did you specifically hand her the Barney?
I mean, shoot, I don't even remember.
Did you spill something on it? Did you?
I don't remember because it has been a decade. But for
So here Bree is asking actually kind of an intelligent question, because Gypsy is claiming that she gave her mother, a 23-year-old woman, gave her mother a Barney doll, and you saw how cluttered that house was. Well, if you haven't, let me tell you, it's completely cluttered. Gypsy's room has all these stuffed animals all over. And so why did you pick out that Barney doll? Oh, Mom, I need you to wash my Barney doll. Okay, that's odd. So Bree's like, well, did you spill something on it? Do you remember what you did with it? Bree's kind of like asking questions here.
whatever reason, the Barney needed to be washed, and that's why it was there on the bed. Is because my mom was doing laundry, and she folded the towels, folded the clothes, and then whenever it came to the Barney, she put it behind her by the pillows. That is it.
And here's the thing,
That is it.
Okay, so then Bree goes on and talks word salad, word salad, word salad. Okay, so we're going to get this straight. She claims now that the night before the murder, her mother was doing laundry. There are some pictures in the crime scene. I'll just tell you what they are. I don't think I brought them up, or I can bring them up later. There are pictures in the crime scene of the washing machine. In the washing machine is wash. In the dryer, there's clothes. So it does look like somebody was doing laundry. Okay. Now, why did the Barney doll come up at all? What is this lore about the Barney doll? Okay. Well, we got to go back to the beginning of the case. I'll show you some pictures here. And Nick Godejohn. Let's go to Nick Godejohn's interrogation. This is when the first time the Barney doll is mentioned. It's mentioned by the detective, and then I'll explain what's going on here.
The bed, then you got pretty much the first time ever in their house, and I can't believe how much the pigsty it was.
Oh, okay. What do you, when you say pigsty, what do you mean?
I mean, there was one room where it was hard to even get into the room. How much was in it? Then Dee Dee's bedroom, there was stuff along where the bed is. You got the bed, then you got pretty much where the edge of the bed is.
Okay.
That's where she had all the different things just all over there. I don't know how else to put it, like, I mean, she might have had like clothing and all different things in there.
Okay. Do you remember ever seeing a Barney doll, or it's like a purple dinosaur?
Yeah, yeah.
Where did you see that at?
It was not even, I could have sworn I was in her room. Was it not? I think that was in Gypsy's room.
In Gypsy's room?
That's what I remember.
Okay. But do you remember seeing a purple dinosaur? The Barney dinosaur or whatever?
Well, I know she did watch it, but I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. I'm thinking about this now. No. I don't remember seeing one now.
You don't? Okay.
No, I don't remember seeing one.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. That's it. So why would the detective ask about the Barney doll? All right. Remember, this is the beginning of the investigation. Okay. This is the first interrogation. All right. And they have some information about the crime scene. And one of the things is there's Dee Dee, there's the top of her head, and you see the Barney doll. Okay. Now, why would the detective want to know why the Barney doll is there? Because when a murder like this happens and the person that is the victim is covered up and it looks like any comfort is given to them, i.e., a stuffed animal placed near them, sometimes maybe they're put in a praying position, but they're covered up. Like whoever did it gave them some dignity. That's important for the detective because that way the detective, it's a clue to possibly whoever was part of the murder was close to the victim, right? If you're not close to the victim, you're not going to care. That's kind of like the rule of thumb. Like, you just toss them out on the side of a road, Now there's different, as a side note, there's different quirks with serial killers who might position their victims in different ways. But basically, your run-of-the-mill murder, okay? If you see the person covered up, praying position, something keepsake nearby, it means that possibly it's a clue that somebody close to the person did this as a caring thing. That's how the Barney doll came into the lore. It's why it was questioned that way. Now there's this whole conspiracy because later we see the Barney doll is moved. Now this is the side table. So where I showed you that first picture, there's an end table to the end, a nightstand rather, to the side of Dee Dee. And so in other crime scene photos, you see later on after her body's been moved, the Barney doll is on the nightstand. And we know that based on this, that the Barney stuffed animal was originally located on the bed, partially under the victim's head. However, it was moved and placed on the nightstand when the victim was examined. Okay, so there's no conspiracy about how the Barney doll was moved. Okay, but this whole thing about the Barney doll became part of the conspiracy. Like, did Gypsy go into the room after the crime? Did she take the Barney doll from her room into the room, placed it by her mom's head as comfort? All of these things we'll never know because she's never going to tell the truth. Okay. That is the Barney doll. Now, why Ken asked about it, I don't know. Was it a generalized conversation where he's asking now about the crime, where he wants to know specifics, that there's, stuff going on in their relationship where finally he's thinking, maybe I need to know about this? What is this about the Barney doll? What is this about this? What is this about that? Right? I don't know. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I'm not there. I know what Gypsy's type of behavior would be in that relationship. It's the behavior that she had in all of her relationships. We have a lot of evidence about how she is in romantic relationships. She's extremely needy. She looks for somebody to complete her. Because she doesn't really have her own identity, she's looking for a man to give her an identity as a mother, right? As a wife, as a girlfriend. That's why it's so important to her to always be in some type of a relationship, because she's not okay with herself, right? She wants that relationship to complete her, so to speak. Not right. It's the very wrong reason to have a relationship. Besides, she's got some truly, truly bad mental issues that we know about. So that's the whole thing with the Barney doll. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, as side notes, there's a picture of Gypsy in the hospital with the Barney doll as a kid. And one other place where the Barney doll does come up in this case was in People magazine. Here's the quote from People magazine article. Quote, and this is Gypsy talking. I can go back in my memory as far as maybe 3 years old, says Gypsy. I was holding a Barney stuffed animal and my mom was walking beside me, holding my hand. It's a simple memory, but it was sweet. Now, this could give some credence that if this is her earliest memory of the Barney doll and her mother, maybe then it does give some credence as the Barney doll has special significance and that she went back in and placed it by her head. I don't know. I cannot tell you that as a fact. I'm just giving you all the information that I have from investigating this case. Okay. So that's it with the Barney doll. You guys make up your mind. Why did she bring it up? Why did she feel that she needed to go public to clear up the Barney doll? What was there to clear up about the Barney doll? Is it that I think she thinks people use it as to say she was part of the murder, actually part of the stabbing and all that. Okay, I cannot say that. I have never said that, but there are people who believe that. So I don't know if that's what she's trying to, swat down. There's certain issues right now that Gypsy's very big bothered by. One of them is her swallowing, and we're going to get to that. She was eating on camera on purpose, and I found out some new stuff about the swallowing I'll try to get to. But I want to get to right now her vilifying her mother once again. Let's get to that clip.
And are looking at like words that should not be able to be seen by the human eye. And
She had a stillborn boy.
Okay.
Like if I had been a son,
it's
this is kind of a crazy, messed up story, but I'm pretty sure this is something that maybe I might talk about in my book. But my mom.
In my book, do we have a new book coming out? Please no. No, we're good. We're good. We've got two. We've got the ebook, and then we've got the really messed up memoir that's atrocious. So I don't know if the world needs another Gypsy book, but somebody's willing to pay her for it. I guess so. I thought she was rewriting the memoir, but now we're writing another. I don't know.
Wi-Fi bill. There's a name that it says Sebastian. Now I've tried to help people like get over this. I've tried to look because you know how like there's could be different words for like networks or blah blah that have it could be any.
This is really quick. I don't want to spend too much time on this. They're talking about this Sebastian thing. What's the Sebastian thing? Gypsy had a prison boyfriend whose name was Sebastian, but weirdly, also this is from the crime scene. Here, this is from the crime scene. You see, this is like their in-home network. You know how when you hook up your Wi-Fi and you can name it whatever you want. And what was weird is you had all these Sebastians. Let me see if I can. you had all these Sebastians here, right? And it's spelled a weird way. And the weird way that Sebastian is spelled here is the same way as the boyfriend's name in when she was in prison. Just a coinky dink? Possibly, right? She didn't know supposedly this Sebastian that she had a relationship with before the murder. So she said that Rachel Garlick, who was somebody she met on the prison bus from the Greene County Jail to Chillicothe, that's where they met. It's where she met Rachel Garlick. That Rachel told her, hey, I got this guy, used to be a boyfriend, no longer, but he could be your pen pal. His name is Sebastian. And so Sebastian came into being. Now, this is from the crime scene, and Sebastian is listed as like, it's popping up when you go to hook up to your internet, and you'll see your device, and sometimes you'll see neighbors' devices, right? This is what we're looking at here. So was Sebastian a name that Dee Dee used for somebody, not for somebody, for their in-home network? I don't know, but it's spelled a weird way. Anyways, that was the significance of it. So let's get back to this clip.
Important to me, but it might be to other people, and that's fine. They can ask questions, but maybe I'll find it for you, and that way you can look at it and try to answer this for people, because this has been a question.
Yeah, because I have no idea what that's all about. Like, what's interesting is this is kind of a crazy, messed up story, but I'm pretty sure this is something that maybe I might talk about in my book. But my mom, you know how since like day one, she always blamed me for like my dad leaving because I wasn't a boy. Like if I had been a son, my dad would have stayed because he wanted a boy. So she always blamed on me. Well, you were a girl, and that's why you're. And then she tells me a story about how she got pregnant after me, and it was my dad's. And it went from she had a miscarriage in one story to she had a stillborn to he was a year old. It changed.
So like Krista, like her had a picture of Dylan and was talking.
Yes, so she was going around like the neighborhood and telling different people this was my son that died, and it was a picture of Christy's son Dylan. That's freaking weird. But the name that she named this non-existent child that she thought up a whole story for was Aratigaze Sebastian. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I don't know if she made that her Wi-Fi password. I don't know.
Oh my god, that is really weird. But okay, Kai, you said there's 3 accounts. LOL. Okay, so do you think that Gypsy handled the bills in the house?
Yeah, no.
I'm really like, I know you're being a smartass, but I'm actually not being a smartass. I'm really genuine. Do you think that she handled the bills? Like, I just think that some questions that people ask, it's, to me, I feel like, because wait, so let me get this. Is this okay? I don't know. I kind of like a long time ago, like the theories and weird conspiracy. Okay, so I think
I can't. I gotta go. Fast forward.
Because the one who handled all the bills, which was Gypsy, will love to answer that question for you.
Too, my mom was also opening credit cards and all this kind of crap in my name, my social security number too. So God knows what she did to my fucking credit.
I had a friend of mine that
it's just the way she talks about her mom. It's just, if anyone had any doubt that this person has animosity and not good feelings about somebody, it's obviously she doesn't about her mom. And when she got out, all that bullshit about, oh, I love my mom, and that whole thing is gone now. That mask is off now. And she's obviously very upset about like this. I don't know if this is true or not. Did her mom open up credit cards in her name and ruin her fucking credit, as she says? I have no idea. The point is she's dead and you murdered her. So maybe not. Whether this is true or not, maybe not, right? Maybe we don't have to do this. This shows her lack of empathy for her own mother that she murdered.
Whose mom did that to them. Sense to me, because it doesn't make sense to me. Maybe I forgot this to like try to say it in the comments if you got enough room. What's the story, maybe? And y'all.
opening credit cards and all this kind of crap in my name, my social security number too. So God knows what she did to my fucking credit.
I had a friend of mine that whose mom did that to them. It's actually pretty common. It's sad, but it's common.
I can't. The one person I can't listen to is Bree because she makes no sense. So that's it. That's the continuing vilification of her own mother that she murdered. As we've always said here on the Becca Scoops channel, we give you the good, bad, and ugly about Dee Dee, everything, right? But what we don't understand, I do understand it. It's because she can't show empathy, but it's hard to listen to. It's hard to hear Gypsy tell these stories about her mother that are unkind stories for no reason. What's the reason that she needed to say that? Except to make herself feel better and to make her mother look worse, right? Because right now she's big bothered about, I think, the truth getting out. I could be wrong. Because another thing she was very kind of incognito showing everyone was how she swallowed. So let me get to that because I found out some new information about Gypsy's swallowing problems. I was sent this video via email by different people over the weekend. It is Gypsy swallowing. Somebody put it in slow motion. I want to show you guys this because I want to expand on what's going on here. So I've done a lot of research into this. I'm not a dentist. I'm not an ear, nose, and throat doctor, but I have done a deep dive, gone down a rabbit hole, and here you're going to see her swallowing. Okay. I want to point out some things, and I'm glad that she allowed us to look at it in this way. I'm going to show you some evidence, some videos of clips by dentists and an ear, nose, and throat doctor. Gypsy, besides having the high palate, is doing what's called reverse swallowing. I'm going to let a dentist explain it in a really quick clip, but you're going to notice how her lower jaw goes in, like, when she's chewing. She's got that weak jaw, right? It's part of it. And then she has this high arched palate. So let me just back it up here. I want you to notice how on the side it goes back, how her lower jaw goes back when she's chewing. I want you to pay attention to that, please. Now it's out. Now it's going back. See? Out, back, out. It's stuck. Out, back. Okay. This is not a normal way you swallow. Okay. And I'm not doing this to make fun of her in any way. I'm doing this purely because at the crux of this case is proving that her medical procedures were warranted and needed. And one of the biggies is the swallowing issues. And that led to the salivary gland removal. Okay. That partially led to the feeding tube, all of these things. Okay. That a lot of this started her failure to thrive. Okay. Had to do with her swallowing issues. Okay. And so now that you've seen that, I'm going to put this clip of this dentist up that I think you're going to find fascinating.
Wave just to facilitate fluid to flow into the back of the throat.
She's going to talk about reverse swallowing. If you could see here on the right-hand side, there's a picture of somebody that has that weak, what we call a weak jaw. It kind of looks like Gypsy, right? It's that kind of that jaw that is set back. And okay, let's go ahead and listen. I hope it's loud enough. I won't interrupt so that if you have to turn up the volume to hear this, you can.
So the swallowing motion. So imagine this is the palate of the mouth, and this is the tongue. So in a normal pattern of swallowing, the tip of the tongue, 2/3 of the tongue is going to go onto the roof of the mouth, and it's going to do a wave just to facilitate fluid to flow into the back of the throat. So the swallowing motion should be very easy. The muscle that should be involved in this process should be the tongue and the lips. What the lips does is create a seal, and
Now this is sorry to interrupt, and I said I wouldn't, and I'm worried about this music now. I'm hopefully this music is okay, or I'm going to be really pissed. That this isn't an arch palate. This is a normal palate, but she's showing the reverse swallowing, okay, which only gets worse with a high palate, okay.
And what the tongue does is it facilitates the fluid to flow down the back of the throat. But in the reverse swallow, there's more muscle that involved, especially what causes mentalis, than what we like. So in a reverse swallow, your child actually start the motion of swallowing from the back of the throat. So it's going to wave from the back, and then the tongue is going to poke forward. So this will explain a lot of the children
the tongue pokes forward.
Who has reverse swallow, they will have either an overjet of the entire front teeth area, or mainly the two front teeth. You see those
Okay, so overjet of the front teeth, right? Overjet of the front teeth.
Teeth move more forward on there. So that's indicative of where the tongue is pushing at the ending of the force of the swallowing process. So in order for the lips now to create a seal in order to swallow without spilling stuff outside of the mouth, your lips is now going to have to overly work. So in my case, when I swallow, there should be no movement right here, because the only thing that
notice, and you guys can practice this, and this is, you swallow. I just swallowed. There's no movement of my lips. There's no, right? Okay.
is involved during the process of swallowing is my tongue and my lips. And my lips is in harmony, so it's very relaxed, closing and swallowing. For a kid that does the reverse swallow, what you're gonna see is this. So
who does that look like?
What that does is now this muscle is involved, and the really severe one, this is when you're going to see the quick knot, because the swallowing process for them is quite difficult.
The quick nod, and we've seen that. We've seen her do that when she was drinking the fluid, the quick nod, right?
Actually have to overly work to get that fluid down there, because the fluid sometimes can go in the reverse direction. So the reason why this muscle is involved during the incorrect swallowing is that because the tongue now pushes the teeth more forward. So the upper jaw now is being more forward, and the lips, in order for it to go up and close, the muscle, the mentalis muscle now needs to be activated. So now you see this movement right here, okay? And why do we care about that? We care for multiple reasons. Number one things, for dental wise, you will see teeth down on the bottom actually quite crowded. You also will start seeing with that symptom of crowded teeth.
I want to show you a picture of Gypsy's lower and from the side. Teeth quite crowded, and you see there the overbite, okay, and the jaw set back, okay. All right.
The chin being a little bit more retruded. The reason for that is anytime the mentalis is exerted, the muscle is now activating a certain amount of force and exerted on the jawline, and it's holding the jawline back where it doesn't allow it to grow correctly. So then therefore, the jaw is not growing to accommodate these teeth where they're supposed to be. So then, as the jaw being pulled back, you're going to see this type of kids that have a very weak chin, and also it does a micro compressions of the jaw. So with these micro compressions,
okay, so she talks about that, but I think at the end here, it's almost over.
Nose breathing. So when you have a micro chin, instead of have the ability to house the tongue correctly, it's actually pushing the tongue back into the throat area when they lay down. These are the kids that you start seeing slowly.
So here's what she's talking about. So remember how Gypsy was diagnosed with sleep apnea as a kid? She had breathing difficulties as a kid and all that. It's because when they lay down, the tongue doesn't, it slips back into the throat. And so that's the problem. That can be a bad problem. Okay. Plus for Gypsy, and she's not even talking about an arch palate with this. Plus with the arch palate, the tongue there's so much room there. Like when we lay down, the tongue is pretty sealed, right? But when she lays down, it's slipping back. Okay. That can lead to sleep apnea, especially as a child, and snoring as an adult, and even sleep apnea as an adult too. Okay. Now here's the one more thing that I found very, very interesting about this. Remember, Gypsy was very upset about that her mother was trying to get her to go to an ENT. And usually in all good lies, there's some truth. That whole thing was canceled. We've already proven that. Canceled. There was no follow-up with that. But guess what type of doctor you would go see with this problem? An ENT. So this makes much more sense than my mom's trying to cut my throat. My mom, right? So I want you to watch this really quick video here by an EMT about the high arch palate.
Of somebody that has a very high arch palate. And if you have a high arch palate, or your kid does, I'm going to explain to you how I approach that as a pediatric ENT. Hi, I'm Dr. Stephen Gowdy, pediatric ear, nose, and throat surgeon and inventor of the nose bot. So the palate at the top of the roof of your mouth there is a vault-like structure, and it can be quite narrow. You can see this one is even more narrow, and that can cause issues with breathing and cause issues with eating and
Issues with breathing, issues with eating. Again, issues with breathing, issues with eating.
people generally get kind of concerned about it. What you
People
may
get
not know
concerned.
is that the palate, or the roof of the mouth, is actually a suture of two bones. So the palate grows from one side to the middle, and those bones join right in the top of the mouth. So if you have a narrow palate, that means that those bones haven't expanded, and that you may need to see an orthodontist to get an expander. So this is a good representation of somebody that has a very high arch palate.
Okay, so I think that's fascinating. I didn't want to get more into it or more in depth at this point. But again, when we see her eating, I want to just, the reason I'm showing this is because she's showing herself eating, because she knows she was old enough to know she had eating problems, swallowing problems. She still does. But she's so scared that if this gets confirmed, so she's trying to eat for us on a live. Why would you pick up cookies and eat in front of, for what reason? She did it specifically. Okay. And you can watch the jaw going back there when she's eating. I don't, it obviously she's doing a reverse swallow. There's no doubt in my mind anymore that she's doing a reverse swallow. Okay. And that everything that happened to her happened for a reason, that she does have these issues. She did have this disorder, the microdeletion, the high arch palate that led to the swallowing issues, the breathing issues, and the eating issues. So there you have it. I don't think I have anything else for today, but I do have some exciting news. We are working on something behind the scenes. It's called a sizzle reel, and it's going to come out, and it's like what you use to get people interested in a story, right? And so I've been working on that behind the scenes. It's really a fast. It's 2 to 3 minutes. One I might make 2 to 3 minutes, one I might make 8 minutes. And so that's coming up. Also, I've got a whole bunch of other stuff that I want to go over. It's new on a live. So I'm thinking Wednesday night. Look for it in notifications. It's going to be a great live. It's going to be an exciting live. I'm going to even break some more news on the live. So you guys aren't going to want to miss that at all. Okay. I purposely left stuff out of this video because I want to save it for the live so I can go over it with you to show you it's just mind-blowing stuff. All right, guys. So thank you so much for watching Becca Scoops today. I hope you guys are having a great day. And, if you need to email me, it's beccascoops@gmail.com. If you like this content and you're not a subscriber to Becca Scoops, consider becoming a subscriber. If you are really into this case and really want to support all the work we're doing behind the scenes, consider becoming a member to my channel. As always, if you can't afford becoming a member, please don't. It's fine. Just clicking on my videos and commenting, liking, hyping, all of those things help me tremendously. And I really appreciate it. All right, guys, that's going to do it for Becca Scoops today. Becca Scoops out. You guys have a great evening.